So we shouldn't.
I understand that. Is there any possibility of a mutual transfer agreement of some kind, do you think, where Palestinians could go back to the lands that they had been on before the Israelis took them, and Israeli settlers could carry on living where they are? In other words, that both Israel and a future Palestinian state had substantial minority populations from the other?
The state of Palestine will be, like all other states, welcoming any people who want to come and live legally in the state of Palestine. But those people cannot be living on stolen land. Any state would have judicial system, would have courts and judges. And if a judge finds that settler to have been living on a privately owned land, they will rule that that person has to be evicted. We don't want to go through that process. However, any person who want to apply, like you do in the UK, for a residency, wants to live, wants to practice or invest, wants to do business, ahlan wa sahlan, as we say, they're welcome.
Do you accept that none of this can happen until Hamas is eradicated? Because I have spoken to Jewish people who are absolutely terrified of continuing to live along a border where Hamas are on the other side.
They should be terrified of the continuation of a situation that lasted for for 75 years. They should
but
be
they're
terrified.
especially terrified about Hamas.
Hamas is not the reason why we have a conflict. Hamas is an outcome of the conflict. So is many other Palestinian political factions. To think that everything will end once you end one of the Palestinian political factions is really rather naive. We need to think about the root causes, and the Israeli public need to realize that they have to come up with a final sort of conclusion that they cannot have the cake and eat it too.
And if we are at the very beginning of a process towards a Palestinian state, how important are the Arab countries in the area? How important are the Egyptians and the Jordanians and indeed the Saudis in making it happen?
Very important, and all these actors have been trying their best. There is a regional pact called the Arab Peace Initiative, is a Saudi initiative, whereby should Israel ends its occupation of Palestinian and Arab land that began in 1967, the entire Arab world, and with it the entire Muslim world, 57 states will immediately normalize with Israel. Israel will become a state in the region. There will be cooperation, economic and what have you. The issue is Israel has placed its occupation and expansion above any other consideration. That's a fact. And never this Arab Peace Initiative was picked by any Israeli government. So the Arab world now is repackaging that, representing that in a way that would be hopefully picked by the Israeli public.
And David Cameron has been talking directly in the same room with Benjamin Netanyahu, presumably including about this. So he knows how steely Netanyahu is on this subject. Do you believe this is an impossible dream so long as Benjamin Netanyahu is Prime Minister of Israel?
And also it will be an impossible dream so long as the international community does not come with a stick. And I mean by a stick, an ability to enforce, an ability to impose sanctions, an ability to support accountability. Without all those, carrots only did not work for a long time and shall not work. We need to make sure that all parties are aligned with international law, respect and uphold international law, and if they don't, accountability is waged. That's why the ICJ and The Hague and what happened last week was historic, because for the first time, Israel now officially on trial for genocide. We need to make sure that the law is upheld.
We don't have an awful lot of time, Ambassador Zomrot, but can I ask one final thing? If this is the beginning of a process with David Cameron beginning to lead it, surely the crucial question is what America now does. The next bit has to go to Washington.
No, that's why I think it was very significant and historic, because it started in London. Because while America is needed to be on the